I'm here with Dr. George Cooke, who is also one of the moderators for a panel discussion at the very first Ceylon Literary Festival. George, it's a pleasure having you here. Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you so much.
George, speaking about the first ever Ceylon Literary Festival, there is a panel discussion which you are moderating, and with a very interesting topic, I've been told. Could you tell us a little bit about the panel, about the session, and what exactly are you aiming to discuss in the panel discussion?
Yes, so the panel, I'm going to have two panels which are going to be in Kandy and in Colombo, on the 8th in Kandy, on the 12th in Colombo. The panel is titled, Will the Last Feminists Turn Out the Lights When They Leave? And this is where we have some very good writers. I mean, all the authors are amazing, the ones that we have coming down for the festival. And this is where we're going to have Professor Sonora Jha, who is very famous for a lot of work, including the latest one being The Laughter. Some of the other books that have been written really encapsulating the world from, we can talk about a feminist perspective, but we also need to understand where they come from. What is their thought process? She talks about how, we'll listen to her talking about this, but we've also read about how she's been influenced in her writing process, who are the main figures, who are the main personalities. But at the same time, we also have Shobha Dey, who will be joining the session, who's very well known in this part of the world, especially no stranger to Sri Lanka, who will be on the panel in Colombo. But going back to Kandy, we will also have V.V. Ganeshanandan, whose latest book, Brotherless Night, is being talked about a lot. And whether it is their individual writing, whether it is what they have done, we're trying to understand the role of women. What has happened? Has it transposed? We talk about Sri Lanka, 1960, world's first woman prime minister. Was that a massive boost for feminism, or was that a flare that came out of nowhere and did it die down after that? Have we actually had a strong feminist movement? We're talking about feminism today from different angles. Look at it from a human security point of view. When we look at security for all, we look particularly at women, children, the impact that conflict wars have on them. So how does it influence your mind as a writer? And when you're bringing out publications of this nature, whether it be based on actual historical developments, whether it be fiction, it's very interesting to see that take of it, because the writers have also in their work tried to portray different angles, different perspectives. And we as the reader, that is where we are that much more enriched in trying to understand what exactly it is when we talk about feminism. How is the movement going in the world? It has branched out, there have been different waves. Look at all of that.
Oh, wow. Okay, very interesting, and also a very broad discussion that will be, and speaking about, because this panel will be part of the Ceylon Literary Festival, which is done for the first time ever. How would you say that this would differentiate to some of the other festivals that have taken place?
So when we look at festivals around the world, and look at festivals in South Asia in particular, we find that we in South Asia, developing countries, we are focused on a lot of mundane issues. We're trying to get through inflation, cost of living, daily problems, occurrences, challenges that come up all the time. Now, it's very important to have the other side of life, the aesthetic side, understanding culture, beauty, language, really bringing all those parts on board as well. And this is where accessibility becomes very important. One thing I really like about this festival is the fact that student passes are being issued. Young people, students still in school, budding writers, they may have done drafts, they might be thinking of writing, they want to write. Listening to one of those authors might be that spark that inspires them to go and do that. And this is what we need to nurture. It's wonderful for older people to also come and listen, to understand, to exchange views based on experience. The younger audience is where you're going to look at the future in terms of their own writing. They might be authors in the future. They might be at a future Ceylon Literary Festival as well, presenting their work. So that is what we really need to push with a festival of this nature. You're pushing literature, you're pushing the arts, you're pushing appreciation of literature.
Definitely. And also speaking about inspiration, is there anyone that has inspired you when speaking of authors? Because there are multiple authors that are coming in and they're getting together for the Ceylon Literary Festival. Are there any favorite authors that you would like to work with, or that anyone in particular that you would like to mention?
So I'm really looking forward to seeing the panelists on my panel, like the authors who are coming, Professor Sonoro, Shobha, as well as Vivi Osugi. But I'm also eagerly awaiting Shyam Selvadore's session, where his latest publication, Mansions of the Moon, having read the book, it really takes you back hundreds of years. It's taking you back to a different era. Massive amounts of research have gone into that book. That's not a book that he just sat on a veranda somewhere and wrote. The in-depth knowledge, the understanding, the religious philosophical basis of the book, looking at the role of women at the time, the role she played in the life of Prince Siddhartha, how that really had an impact. Now, this is one person I'm looking forward to seeing at the festival, also speaking to, because that's been a book which has been a page turner. I couldn't put the book down. It was such a brilliant book.
Well, we're looking forward to you meeting all these authors and for us to be a part of the sessions that you will be conducting as well. Thank you very much, George, for speaking to us and for being here this morning. It's been a true pleasure. Thank you very much and all the very best for the panel discussion.
Thank you so much.